Welcome to the Mind of Business Success podcast. I'm your host, Alicia Cramer. Our guest today is Brittni Schroeder. Let's talk about automating your business. Welcome to the show, Brittni.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Fellow podcaster, you know this game. You know
hmm
that our listeners want to walk away with something that they can implement to grow their business, to
hmm
increase their revenue. And that is what you do. So, how perfect.
Yes, yes.
Let's start by talking a little bit about your business so our listeners have a frame of reference for what it is that you do.
Yes, awesome. So just a little bit about me and my background. I've been an entrepreneur for as long as I can remember. I did high school senior photography for about 10 years. I owned a photography magazine. I worked in nonprofit work. I have my own nonprofit. Um, about 5 or 6 years ago, I pivoted and went straight to business and marketing. I had moved, I was in El Paso, Texas, and I moved to Houston, Texas. And I was like, oh, I don't want to do a location based business. This is a good time to pivot. So I pivoted. I got certified as a life coach because I wanted those mindset tools. So that is kind of me. And so now I help businesses with marketing and scaling and all things like automation, all the things, just like overall like business growth. So that is kind of me in a nutshell. I live in Utah now. But that's me in a nutshell, pretty much.
Awesome. We hear the terms like scaling and growth, and everybody wants financial growth. Some people certainly
hmm
do want business growth. Some people are just like, okay, my business is a flippin' mess right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Way too much manual labor, way too much, you know, emphasis on all of these little technical pieces. When we're talking about automation, when we're talking about scaling, I mean, we really do need to start to leverage systems and processes and tools and technology that take some of that burden off so we're not being the bottleneck in
Mhm.
our business. What are you seeing as sort of a common theme when a client comes to you? Where are they bottlenecking, getting in their own way? What is a mindset shift maybe that they need to make so that they can start to implement these systems and processes that actually allow them to grow?
Yeah. No, that's a great question. I think a lot of times I have these entrepreneurs, they have a great idea or a skill set or something, and they want to help people with it. And then it's exciting and they might see a little bit of success, like, oh, I got a client, it's good. But then as they're trying to grow their business, that's when overwhelm comes in and that's when burnout comes in. And they're like, I can't maintain this. I cannot keep up at this pace. I can't do everything. I can't wear every single hat. And that's where I see business owners like really like, is struggling is like, how do I do it all? How do I do everything? And how do I grow with what I have, the tools that I have? And so one of the things is that I think a lot of entrepreneurs, kind of a step they miss is I need systems, I need automations, because then it allows them to focus on the things that they enjoy or the things that make their business grow. But when they're constantly emailing and, like sending out like invoices or, like that's when the business starts to get like, they kind of lose the integrity too, because they can't keep up with it. And so the automations and systems is so important. And just kind of touching on what you said about like the mindset, I think that is something that really holds a lot of entrepreneurs back, where it's like, I'm not smart enough. Like I don't understand technology. I'm not good at technology. And those are all thoughts, and that's where we have to see a mindset shift where it's like you can figure this stuff out. Like you're smart. If you're smart enough to have a business and to help other people, you're smart enough to figure out like the technology. You just might need a little guidance and a little direction in that. So that's what I see a lot is that mindset.
when someone doesn't even know where to begin,
Mhm.
that is probably the kiss of death, right? If you get
Mhm.
stuck there, because then you're, I mean, let's face it, the mind does not like that type of uncertainty. The mind does
Mhm.
not want to look out into, the the landscape of your life and say, "Oh shit, I don't know what to do here."
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, let's talk a little bit about some of the basics, some of the
Okay.
more practical things that people should know are
Mhm.
fundamentals, essentials. Maybe they don't apply to everyone, but they apply to the majority of business owners, things that they can perhaps at least plant the seed. These are
Mhm.
things that I should start to implement and integrate into my business.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's good. I think, I think one of the things is mindset is very important. And I always talk about that because it is essential to have that, but it's also you need actionable steps. So I always say, like, you can't think your way to $1 million. Like, you have to take action, but the mindset has to be there. And just a quick short story. When I have a background in photography, I have a background in graphic design, and when I was pivoting in my business, I needed a new website. And I have always had this thought where, in the past I've had somebody else do it for me, or, whatever, bought like a plug and play one. And I thought, I need a website. And I knew it was an investment. And I had this thought where I'm like, gosh, I always, when it comes to graphic design, anything visual, I invest and then I feel like, oh, I'm never happy. And so I'm like, gosh, I don't want to invest in something and then not be happy. So I thought, I wish I knew how to build websites. And I had this thought where it was like, oh, I can't build a website. Like, that's too hard for me. Or I don't know where to start. And so I had a major mindset shift where I was like, I am smart. I can build a website. I can do anything that I want to do. And so I had set a goal for myself where it was like, for 1 hour every day, I'm either going to work on my website, or I'm going to learn how to build a website, or I'm going to ask somebody to help me. But I am going to build this website. And it took me 6 months, but I built my own website and I learned how to build my website. And so I think having that simple mindset shift where if you're feeling overwhelmed with a certain aspect in your business, to change your mindset to like, I'm smart enough, I can figure this out. But then it's like, have an actionable plan where it's like, okay, I don't know how to do it. Okay, that's the obstacle. What's the strategy? I need to find, I need to figure out how to learn. Okay, when are you going to do that? I'm going to do that tomorrow. How are you going to do that? And kind of like mentally walk yourself through overcoming the obstacle of knowledge. And I think that that is a big one. So that's my first like tip, is getting in a place where you feel like you can do this, be a problem solver, solve the problem, what's holding you back. The second thing is, when you're looking at your business, like, what are the things that are taking up your time? What are the things that are like sucking your time the most? And like kind of making a list. The very first thing that I always say to start with, and that I start with my clients, is the one-on-one, like the client. Because businesses fail for two reasons: either they don't grow fast enough, or they grow too fast and they lose the integrity of their business. And so that communication is really important. And so the onboarding of your clients and offboarding is really important. So what are, in any business, in anything that we do in our business, there is a part where you are educating people. So even take, for example, doing a podcast together. If at first you send the link, and you sign up for something. Okay, then what? Like, do you need my bio? Do you need my headshot? These are all there's lots of interactions, little interactions that you should be having, a bunch of these little interactions all day long, right? And so it's like, what are the emails that you are sending over and over and over again? They can be automated. When you have a task that is repetitive and it's similar every time, there's probably a way that you can automate that process. And so that's a big one, is onboarding your clients and educating them. So I'll do, one of the first things I say is like, write your client experience from beginning to end. What are all the processes? What's all the information you need to let like your customers or clients know? Write those out. There's a way you can automate them. You can automate them with your email marketing. Like you can create an automation or a workflow. That's something that you can automate. Your podcast. And I think a lot of times too, people don't realize they're probably using programs already in their business. They just do not realize the capabilities where they can automate different parts of their business. But I always say start with the client experience, because that's your best tool. Your marketing tool is word of mouth. And a happy customer can be a potential sales rep for your business and for your brand. And so really create like that great client experience. And you can break it down. Like I have clients that are real estate agents, and hey, when somebody goes to sell their house, the process is the same. Hey, you need to like minimize your house. You need to stage your house. That's an email. Those are all processes that you can automate, like what's the next step? Okay, we need to contact, the title company, and we need to do this. A list of all of those things, those can be automated. It's the same with if you're a photographer, you educate them what to wear, like how to prepare, when, what to expect. All of these different processes in your business, they're probably very repetitive. You probably have a copy and paste that you're already doing, but you can automate. That's one automation that you can do right away that's going to save you so much time. And I always say minutes add up to hours, just like pennies add up to dollars, and time is money. And so make sure that you are looking at your business. What is taking your time? Can this be automated? And chances are it can. So that's a good place to start.
I love this. This is incredibly valuable. Even though it seems obvious when somebody hears it, it is not intuitive for a lot of people. And for a long time, I've always heard people say, oh, that person doesn't have any common sense. Well, common sense really is not intuitive. It is learned. When we don't know what we don't know, you just simply don't know.
Yeah.
What you're sharing here is great for a couple of different reasons. And I really want to highlight this. And I mean, amazing stuff here that you're sharing, because you started by talking about it from the customer client perspective. We have all had experiences with business transactions where we are the consumer and someone drops the ball. We don't know what the hell is going on. Maybe you put in your credit card information and now you're like, okay, well, where's my thing? Right?
Yeah.
When am I going to hear about the next steps? And it's not a good feeling when we can think from that user experience perspective. There probably are a lot of places where anyone listening is maybe dropping the ball, ways that you can create some type of automation, some type of system or process that creates a better user experience, a better customer experience, client experience. And really, it helps us as the entrepreneur. When we have an educated client or customer, it makes everything easier for everyone. So that I think is gold, what you just shared there. And then the piece about time. It doesn't matter if you are a solopreneur, if you are a small mom and pop business, if you are growing your company, there are always going to be things that you as the business owner are doing that you probably should not be doing. It is not a good use of your time. And
Mhm.
when we are able to identify those things and get those things off our plate, it makes us so much more productive. And let's face it, I mean, I said it before, right? About bottlenecking. We become the bottleneck oftentimes in our own business because we are doing things that we should not be doing. And there are so many more incredible tools and softwares and different things that we can be leveraging. Now, I want to actually use this as a little bit of a segue to a different question that I have you, because there is so much stuff out there. Sometimes I think people bottleneck because they are doing too much. They have
Mhm.
too many different software programs, too many different pieces that it becomes cumbersome. So when you're working with your clients, do you find that sometimes you're consolidating and simplifying?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Because I am a big like I believe in investing in your business and investing in yourself, but I also believe that we are so easily like influenced and shiny object syndrome where, oh, if I get this product, like it's going to be so much easier, and I'm going to do this, and I see a lot of like overlap where like I'll start working with a client and I said, you're paying for this, but you're paying for both these programs. Well, they just don't know the capabilities of certain programs or softwares. And I'm like, you really don't need this. And I also believe in, like adding these little things. And people don't realize how many free resources there are out there as well. And so I think, it's just like make money. Like I'll see people like invest in something big, like maybe like a CRM or something like that. And they're investing in this. And I'm like, you really do not need this. Like it's great and it's pretty and it makes things look pretty, but like you don't really need this. And I believe in being very minimal. I believe in like fewer choices, and like that we have the paralysis by analysis. We're so overwhelmed with all of these things, and I just having a few systems. And then as you grow and scale, yes, you might need to invest, you might need to do more, but you don't need every single thing. You have so many like great resources, like for little or free. And so, yeah, I do like to consolidate. I do like to say, okay, you don't need this, or did you know that this has this feature? And you're not really like utilizing this as well. So I do see that a lot of people, shiny object syndrome, like I need this, I need this. So they see somebody who has it and, oh, I need this, but you don't necessarily always need everything.
I know that there is a lot more that we could cover on this subject. Because we don't have time, I want to encourage our listeners to make sure they connect with you. So, can you share with our listeners how they can get more of Brittni, where they can find you, how they can get more of this expertise, and where they can find you if they want to hire you?
Yes, absolutely. So my main platform that I spend the most time on is probably Instagram, and that's Brittni.Schroeder. But I have automated and repurposed. I'm pretty much on every single platform. I do have a Facebook group. I'm on LinkedIn, but Instagram is really like my main one that I spend the most time on. I also have, if you are like self-paced and you want to automate your business more, I do have a business membership. If you need a little bit more hands-on, I do offer one-on-one. But you can find me on my website at BrittniSchroeder.com. You can find all the things are there. So that's how you can get a hold of me.
Perfect. I want to thank you so much, Brittni. You dropped a few golden nuggets here, some things that people can start to actually take to heart and do a little bit of purging, or maybe they do need someone like you to come in and help them with the process. But it really has gotten, I think, some wheels turning. So I want to thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
And got to thank all of our listeners. You know, we're doing this for you. If you haven't already subscribed, make sure you do so. And until next time, we will see you in the next episode.